what has been an area of fun and passion since, the beginning of the year for you that you've been really like excited about? And, last time we talked about your wonderful convening that's coming up in November, but I know in the interim there have been some things that have been really exciting. So I don't know if there's anything, that we want to share with everybody that's going to be fun for us as we look ahead.
I think we have a lot of fun things coming up.
Yeah.
We have a lot of collaborative, not just events, not just initiatives, but ongoing, right, projects. And I think you and I right now are having a lot of fun bringing key people into the conversations. I mean, it's kind of all the stuff that 5 years ago we were like, wouldn't it be neat if we could spend more time introducing the right people at the right moment, sparking those conversations, and seeing what kind of synergy, where it goes.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about some of the professional development opportunities, right, with the CEO roundtables, that just bring leaders together to speak in a more vulnerable way, right? And I was thinking a few minutes ago, first, how lucky we are to be able to spend some of our time doing this, having these conversations, right? Because it's very different than my work life looked like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Same.
Right. So how wonderful that we have time and space to examine some of these things.
Absolutely.
The other thing is that the importance of peer leadership, peer feedback is not just the setting, having someone who sets a positive example for you and sort of blazes the trail and brings you along with them, and then you do the same for another person. But it's in those moments where you're not sure if you're doing the right thing. You're not sure how this is going to pan out. You've tried to make the best decision that you could given whatever circumstances, but to have people who understand because they've had to make those kinds of decisions too, who at the very least will reinforce the it's probably going to be fine. It sounds like you did the best, right? But
to have that opportunity to bounce, the ideas back and forth, and you're building that roundtable, which is incredible. I'm happy to, be a part of it.
You're an amazing facilitator for our group.
Thank you. I mean, but I think, where we see the opportunity to bring others to the table for that additional conversation and context across industry, I think there's power in that. But I also see some of the other, great ideas flowing to our volunteer responsibilities and back and forth. I think, I'm growing as a leader in my nonprofit organization. And it's always interesting and exciting, I always say, because when you're there for a long time, anywhere, being wherever for a long time, it's always like, how do I show up in a better way, a more improved way? I'm taking on some different responsibilities or projects. And so I think that part of what I get excited about when I get to work with you and your peers who are, leading these large, exciting, dynamic companies with innovation and, transportation and all the things that really move our economy forward. I always think about, what I'm able to bring back and add value in terms of the work that I'm doing with, our alumni and our high school students. And then, of course, those who come to me for that, peer-to-peer collaboration, but also mentorship. And I know we're doing some work related to, professional growth for, in particular, women. We certainly have a passion around, and we both are women's advocates. And so, just thinking about the work that we're able to do there from a leadership standpoint, I'm learning a lot around women's collective philanthropy. So what am I doing that's exciting? I feel like that's probably this next phase where I am around learning a little bit more about the impetus and excitement and enthusiasm that comes from when women, get together and raise resources and provide opportunity to the community locally, more broadly, nationally, and beyond.